Let's start off with word association.
Okay.
Night.
Stars.
Fear.
Fear. Fear. Sweat.
Australia.
Beaches.
Chopsticks.
Chopsticks. Chopsticks.
Nothing?
No.
All right. Love.
Love. Well, I thought of my wife immediately, so.
Aww.
What are you going to do?
Japan.
It's funny, when you say the country's name, the first thing that comes in my head is actually a picture of the country.
Okay.
When you say Japan, I just see like a world map.
The shape
shape of Japan. So.
You want to introduce yourself?
I'm Dave. I'm 48 years old, married, 2 kids. I came to Japan in 1999. So 24 years old at the time, half my life.
And you come from Perth, Australia?
Originally.
Yeah.
As I was finishing up university, my girlfriend at the time wanted to move overseas for a year or so. And I agreed. We didn't have anywhere really in mind, but we came to Japan. Lived separately, but both got hired for the same company.
Nova.
Yeah. They actually advertised in the newspaper in Australia for English teachers, and she found it and said, let's go and check this out. So they used to have satellite offices in like cities, Perth, Sydney. All of their hiring was done in country, basically. We stayed, she stayed just a year and then she left. And I ended up staying, the first time I think it was 2 years, and had enough of teaching mostly. Not so much the lifestyle in Japan, which I have always enjoyed, but just had enough of the teaching aspect. Thought I was, done pretty much as an English teacher, and I went back home. But
yeah. So what brought you back?
Yeah, basically just missed the place, and I'm thinking about going home. You only remember the good things about home. It's like, I wish I could go to the beach, or you forget all the daily stuff that used to annoy you when you were back there. So I was quickly reminded of that, and just missed the nightlife mostly at that point. Originally, I lived in Enoshima for 6 months, moved to Tokyo, lived in Harajuku for the final year and a bit, I think it was, and then had enough. And, was drinking a lot, went home, kind of just reassessed things, decided I wanted to come back. I was ready to get back into teaching after 6 to 8 months, I think it was.
What were some of the things that annoyed you back home when you went back?
Yeah, good question, but just if anything, it was mostly just people. Yeah, like in Japan, you can walk around all day and nobody bothers you, or you know what I mean. Like you could go a whole day without running into somebody annoying. That doesn't happen in other countries, in my opinion. For me, anyway. Like you're gonna like come across somebody. It's a bit annoying, especially out drinking or whatever. I just found such a vast difference between drinking, pub here as a close to 30 probably at that time, or a bit under, 7, compared to Australia. Like you can't relax there.
Do you have a favorite spot?
There's a place called Schoville that's legendary. It's run by 2 foreign guys. That closed, and they'd had several places. Like they had Ruby Room, I don't know if you know that, and Pure. They opened in Shibuya and Osaka. So Pure was probably their most famous place. It was relatively big. They had a Nogi Hodai system that was kind of new. People would pay 4,000 yen or something to be in there all night. It was kind of a hip hop club. But Sugar High was kind of underground, more of the artsy kind of Japanese people sing. I DJ'd there as well sometimes. And,
Did you get paid for that gig?
Yeah, they used to have a thing where you get 10% of the bar if you DJ'd and organised the event night. So I used to do Sundays for a while. And I built it up so they had the best Sundays they ever had. One time was, from memory, I think it was like 800,000 yen on the bar. So I got
10%.
About 80,000.
That's not bad, is it?
Yeah. But you do a lot of organising for that. So everyone that was there is people I know. You know what I mean? I packed the just my friends and people I knew. So, yeah, you deserve the 10%. But it was a good system because everyone knew each other. So I think Sugar High probably closed around 2000 or 2001. But I grew up in clubs in Australia too. I went to nightclub first time when I was 15 and started working in clubs when I was 18. So I always worked in either liquor stores or nightclubs.
Also as a bouncer.
Yeah, security for a good 5 years. Yeah, we had a few harrowing situations, let's say. In the end, I kind of had enough of it, especially the second time I did it, which was, I was working as a head doorman, had maybe 4 or 5 younger guys working under me. I was still young myself, but it was a pretty high pressure situation. And next door was a really famous club, and I would see people come out of there every single night, kind of face a bit messed up. And after a while, it kind of got to me.
Would you say that experience made Japan even more appealing?
That's why I was saying the safety. Yeah. I would say it's 50% of the reason that I'm still living here, especially because I have a family man, I've got a wife and kids. For them to be able to wander around and do what they want and not have to worry about them as much as I would in Australia, that's a big thing, huge thing. And same for myself to go out and get drunk and then not have to looking over the shoulder or wondering, is this what I'm doing right now? Is that safe? That doesn't even cross my mind here. But in Australia, you have to keep your wits about you more. You
mentioned you did some security work in Japan.
Yeah, it's just part of the party scene, and kind of organically, people knew I'd done security in Australia, and they organically started coming to me and asking if I'd do some parties. And, I did some bigger parties at Club Cheetah and quite a few outdoor ones. Some of my friends still organise them.
Any similar experience you had in Australia while working security here?
As far as danger, no, not at all.
You said 50% of the reason why you're still here is for safety. What's the other 50%?
Probably 40% food and 10% what I said earlier about being able to walk around and not have people bother you. I like the fact anonymity and just that people don't bother you. You know what I mean? You can walk around literally. Tell me one place in the world where you can walk around all day and have not a single person bother you. You know what I mean? That's super rare. So for my personality, that's a really valuable thing that I love about Tokyo. I've heard it's not the same in Osaka or other places, you're much more likely to get spoken to by, but I love the fact about Tokyo that you can be in the same vicinity as people and everyone respects each other's boundaries and doesn't bother them. You know what I mean? That's super Tokyo-ish. I've always felt comfortable with Japanese people, being around them. I don't know why. Australian culture and Japanese culture is apparently the most common combination of international marriage. I think it's because the cultures are pretty similar. I've never felt a single difference between my relationship with my Japanese friends and my relationship with my Australian friends.
Yeah, you do have a lot of close Japanese friends, right? And that's how you learn Japanese.
Yeah, so I don't know if I was just lucky and ran into a bunch but there's guys that I met literally in 1999 when I first got here. 2 of them that I'm still really close with. 3 or 4 actually, even in the first year. 4 people that I would say I've met in the first year, I still meet regularly.
Where did you meet them?
Just around the place. One guy I literally ran into on the street in Enoshima. It's a funny story actually. We were walking around and we had this beer bottle. You could actually buy a bottle of beer from the vending machine, but they didn't have an opener anywhere on the machine. What's the point of having a beer bottle vending machine if you can't open it up? I guess you were supposed to take it home and have it there, but we were walking along with a bottle of beer, like a big bottle of beer, Asahi full-size beer, and there was a guy there, and I was like, "Have you got an opener?" And he just grabbed it off me and opened it on his boot, literally just went and handed it back to us, and it's just a little bit frothing over the top. Oh, thanks, So he knew what was up, and then just got chatting to him, and we ended up jumping in his car and wherever he was going after that. The funny thing is, he was in a restaurant and he had a feeling go downstairs, and wait on the street for somebody, like a little voice in his head. So we've always talked about it being like, it was like a fate. So yeah, we've been very tight ever since. He's the craziest Japanese person I've ever met. But in a good way, but he's super crazy.
So you came back to Japan for those reasons, and you joined Berlitz.
Yeah.
How long did you work at Berlitz?
Oh man, too long. I think close to 20 years.
Why didn't you return to Nova?
Nova, yeah, basically was a time then when people would come and work for them for a couple of years and then switch over to Berlitz. Berlitz had a better deal at the time.
In terms of salary?
Yeah, the salary was better, the conditions were better, it had a better reputation among Japanese people as being like where the more professional people worked at that time.
And Berlitz was going through, during COVID, in need of downsizing.
Yeah, that we were offered salary packages, but I had enough long before that, and I actually sent an email, saying that basically I'd had enough, and I was leaving no matter what. So give me, I've been working hard for a long time for the company, so.
And you went straight to freelance.
I've been teaching privately for many, many years. That's always been a supplement kind of to Berlitz. And then I just built up on that. I built it up to a point where, I was getting fairly close to be able to step away. But that's something you have to do, maintain a certain level of income, right? For most people to walk away from a teaching job and just do your own thing, you're going to be struggling for a year or two. Probably take 2 years to build up the number of students you need to realistically support yourself. But supporting a family on top of that, that's a different story, So anyway, I was just a little bit lucky. I ran into a few lucky opportunities, and
mainly word of mouth, right?
Luckily, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If you focus on giving people a good product, it takes care of itself.
Yeah.
And there's a very fine line between working too much and not working enough, So at Berlitz, for a long time, I worked too much in order to make enough money to support the family and so on. But even privately, you know what I mean? You have to think about how many hours you can contribute without losing your work and life balance, and also, give a proper effort every lesson, for an hour. Yeah, as you know, having taught yourself, it's not as easy as it sounds to maintain, quality. Over the years, especially teaching the same person for many, many years as well. So, of course, there's good things that come from that. You get to know them really well and know what they want or need. And, to maintain an interest is not that easy.
Yeah. Like on those 12 or 10 lesson days.
Yeah.
5 days a week.
If you've been able to get through the eikaiwa industry and survived for many, many years, you have what it takes to be able to teach privately. You just need to find the connections is the most difficult thing. So I just feel like I was really lucky in that respect. I didn't have to hunt for it too much.
So mainly word of mouth. Do you have a website or anything like that?
No.
Any social media?
No. These days, especially people, it's just line communication, right? So just get people's line and then go from there, whether it's a friendship or business. I mean, they're all people that I've kind of had a loose connection with through teaching. Anyway, it's very rare to actually meet somebody on the street, and I've had quite a few people express interest in studying and then balk when you tell them how much it's going to cost, or some people have a bit of an unrealistic image of how much you might charge. So I've always been on the higher end, but that's what the eikaiwa industry was doing too, and I feel like you get what you pay for.
How much do you charge?
That's something I'd rather not say or keep out of it, but yeah.
How many students?
At the moment, I think it's 13, 14. And I've got 2 more trials starting. I've always kind of said, if I had 20, a couple of the students do 2 lessons a week. So if I have 25 hours a week, that's all. I don't want to teach any more than that. I've always had that as So I'm getting to the point where probably at the moment I'm at 15, 16 hours a week. I would say, like, if I gave any advice about money, it's just like value yourself, value your own time and what your skills are, whatever your skill level is, and price it appropriately. Not too high, but not too low. You know what I mean? Because you don't need a huge number of people. You just need to add some loyal, long-term students that are going to be there year in, year out kind of thing.
How long, the oldest student, the one you've taught the longest?
I've been teaching people for, I would say over 10 years now. And I've got, a good few in that category, maybe 3 or 4 in that over 8-year category. So that's a long-term relationship. You become friendly with them, They become you become like a sounding board for them, It becomes a little life coachy sometimes, because they tend to value your opinion. If people are going to have you teach them for that long, they respect you and they value your opinion. So it's, for them though, it is a really good, like, super neutral party to sound ideas off and get a reaction about things, especially like, an international point of view. It's not always an English thing. Like, a couple of my students are super fluent, and it's more of a just, they want to chat about topics to get an international perspective on things, and that just helps them. Usually they're high level business people.
Pros and cons of going freelance.
I mean, the biggest con of working for yourself is the unstable amount of money that you can earn. Like, it only takes a few students to have like a quiet month. I allow students, of course, to cancel and so on. And if a few of them decide to cancel, like on a particular weekend, for example, I might have 6 to 8 lessons on a weekend. And then if 4 of them cancel on the same weekend, it cuts my salary immediately in half. And that's, if you have to pay bills, having a stable salary is a huge thing. So that's the reason I was at Berlitz for so long. It's just a stable thing. You have to have stability to support a family. But, that's the biggest thing. Working freelance, up and down. You have to work it out over the whole year. The tax, that sucks. You have to pay like all your tax separately. Pay Medicare, national health. I believe it's actually higher if you're not like Shaka Hokke. If you're working for yourself, you have your own company, you end up paying more. I haven't actually checked it. That's something I hadn't talked about. The tax thing, I mean, I wouldn't say it's super difficult, but it is kind of annoying. I feel like they could really simplify the tax system here and just have that, because your company takes it out in advance based on what they think you're going to earn, and then they're paying it. So by the end of the year, but when you're working for yourself, you end up paying it retroactively. So that can also kind of suck, because you start to get money coming in and then you've got to pay all your taxes, and you can, like, it's back paying tax.
You got to put that money aside.
Yeah. Basically, that 1 year that you thought you were kind of running tax free almost, and that felt great, then that comes back to haunt you. So taxation, company doesn't do it for you, you have to do it all yourself. Unstable amount of salary, that's the 2 biggest issues with doing it. But
any pros?
Yeah, absolutely. You do everything the way that you want it done. We were forced to do some absolutely ridiculous shit in the eikaiwa industry and we're supposed to pretend that it's, cool or interesting when we know it really sucks. But you don't have to do any of that when you're deciding how the content of the lessons are yourself. Create your own schedule. Yeah. Especially when you're working online only. You finish work, there's no dead time with work travel or sitting around waiting for your next lesson. If you're just at home, you can do whatever you want to do as soon as you finish work.
What percentage of your lessons are online?
All of them. No. I did have a few people that were coming to the house. They basically stopped through COVID, and then they realized, why would I? You feel like you're face to face. There's very little difference in the way the lessons feel being face to face. So it's just as convenient for them. As soon as they finish their English lesson, they do whatever they want to do at home, and they don't have to leave the house, walk around in 37-degree heat like it is today. It is the way of the future. Like, why do you need to be in the same place to learn something like English from someone you don't. Yeah. And in fact, there's a lot of benefits. You can use technology, send notes, things like that. They can share a screen. You can share a screen, point things with people.
I think you mentioned the biggest challenge with freelance. Yeah, all those things. The instability, the time it takes to build your customer base.
Yeah, you have to be lucky to a certain extent. I feel like that for all businesses, there's definitely an element
degree of luck.
Absolutely. How can there not be? Something like that where if one customer can bring you like 5 or 6. I had one customer who's ended up bringing me like 5 or 6 customers.
Any future plans with your freelance business?
I mean, I've had other work come from teaching. I had a student that I was teaching who ended up having to need some video editing work and Excel or other things done. So I ended up like editing videos for him, editing photos, doing Excel graphs and some PowerPoint materials and things like that, and I ended up getting a contract through him to do that for him regularly. So I think, when different streams of income start opening up, like I'm happy to do other things for people that it's required. But as far as like getting an English school going, I think it's too much competition in that market. There's too much risk from AI that people are going to be, like English teachers will be replaced by AI. That it's like chatting programs that just chat to you exactly the same way that an English conversation school teacher does right now. Yeah. And corrects everything, sends you notes and links to corrections of whatever you made a mistake of. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to be all automatic with an avatar of your choosing that you can, you know what I mean? It's going to be perfectly realistic as well.
Even personality.
Yeah, you'll be able to type in, choose, select the image, personality. So I feel like it's on technologically, like it's on its way out. As far as like a mode of learning English, like sitting in one place, like with a desk in front of it. I feel like that's done basically now. So there's still an opportunity for private people teaching high quality lessons to discerning customers. And as I said, then it becomes a semi kind of life coach situation as well, where they just want to talk about their life and, you can give them advice and things like that. So I feel like that's a niche market that can be exploited. When business people are able to also use translation machines that translate in real time and things like that, nobody's going to go and spend the time to take it to learn a language. The people who are doing it now are doing it because it's like a hobby for them in many cases. But the ones like who are starting now because they need it for their work, I feel like that the number of those types of people is just going to drop.
So the future for eikaiwa is looking bleak,
I think
is what you're saying?
I think so. Yeah. Technology's going to
that's a fair point.
Take over language translation and learning, like AI translation. They can do it in your own voice. Yeah, you can speak in it with literally like speaking in your own voice, but in another language immediately after you stop, and then you start again. And so imagine Japanese businessmen; they're not going to go to Berlitz for 10 years every Wednesday after finishing working
in the heat.
8 o'clock exactly, and stay there till 10 p.m. and then go home and eat dinner. No, that's what your machine doing.
Fair enough. So you talked about other projects you're considering getting into.
Yeah.
And we're sitting on top of it.
Yep. I got these mats made up. It was like a little thing I wanted to do for myself. Like we had this tatami room, we bought the house. I ended up using the tatami room to exercise, and then I was like, these regular tatami mats are a pain in the ass to exercise on. They start to crumble, and they're just terrible surfaces. Yeah, they get like a hollow in them as well. So I was doing a lot of yoga, and I was looking for something that would be super firm, and like, because yoga you need that rebound to have that proper like stretch on the muscles. But I also wanted somewhere I could do like functional type training, like slam ball type stuff, and jiu-jitsu if necessary with the kids. So over a year, I was getting tons of samples from people, and I ended up going with a manufacturer and getting this one delivery done. I'm super happy with them. I've been using them myself now for close to a year. And I think it's an excellent service. But just the next step of having to start to market it and sell it to other people but it came around as during COVID, I was thinking people would want to exercise at home and it was just something I had an idea of it, like maybe in the future for an option for mansions and things like that to have an exercise room instead of a tatami room. Especially it's great kids playroom. It's great for exercise.
Easier to clean.
Clean it, yeah. And then even just lying on it feels way better than you're sitting on it now. Tell me that doesn't feel way better than a traditional tatami mat. It's quite just sitting directly on it. It's quite soft on you. So when they do judo at the Olympic level, this is the density of mat they use for the judo. But that's a little denser than a traditional BJJ mat. So as you said, BJJ mat's the same thing exactly, just a little bit softer. This is soft enough to do BJJ, but it's still definitely denser than a standard jiu-jitsu school would have. But that's intentional. As I said, I want it more for both functional training and yoga.
Mm-hmm. How much would you charge for this?
So basically, it was 20 per mat. So these mats, they weigh 25 kilos. It's super heavy, and it's rubber backed, like natural rubber, so it doesn't move no matter how much sideways pressure or whatever you put on it.
That's cool.
It doesn't move. But I would charge 20 per for each mat, 4.5, so it would be 90,000. And then if you were, so 6-mat room, you said you had a 6-mat room, right? That would be 120, which I think is definitely reasonable for completely having a new space that you can utilize inside your own home. But these could also, you could do a setup of 3 just on a regular flooring as well, in the corner of your house, and just have some dumbbells or whatever you need there.
Yeah.
One thing I know is you don't need to go to a gym to exercise. Gyms are a scam. they are. If you want to exercise, just exercise at home. You can get so much material online now that tells you how to work out, and exercise is not about machines in a single.
It's really not
in a single plane.
Yeah.
And then the fact that online training has exploded, so you can get the best trainers.
Oh, you can
get the best trainers in the world now to train you online. Yeah. So I've been doing online training as well myself.
I mean, I'm not trying to trash the workout gyms. It's fine, and it's you have a place to go to, and it's also some people having the need to leave the house to
if it's a social thing for you, that's one thing. Yeah, but if you're just doing it to maintain your health and time wise and cost, effort,
especially if you can be just as motivated
to continue. That is a point. Actually, you're right. It is easier to get motivated if you go somewhere, and that's important for some people. Yeah. Right. But I feel we're on the cusp of information is accessible to everybody now, and especially health information. And that's a good thing, but it's also a bad thing, because how do we know what's true or essential, right? Learn from somebody, but learn as in they teach you how to exercise. Do you know what I mean? They're not there making you exercise so that some people need that maybe, but I think in the future we'll see this more. Same for all kinds of education. We'll see it tending towards being more tailored to individuals, and also B that they're going to learn to maximize their time, maximize if it's able to be done at home, do it at home. The mats are something I'll look into marketing. Like I said, I've been busy, things have got busy for me naturally teaching, and I was looking at this as kind of a backup thing to do. But 20,000 per. We'd have to talk about delivery depending on where the location is as well. And then we have installation, and the final step would be the maximum service would be to have it installed and have your old tatami removed as well. That's an option I might consider offering, but then just I could just deliver it and you can do it yourself if you feel comfortable doing that. It's quite easy to do. Just pull out your tatami and just drop them in. So anybody that was a bit, you can come and get them. That's if you want.
Yeah, exactly.
They're a pain in the ass and they're heavy. So I would ask, if somebody was charging a reasonable amount, I would hate to get it done because it's really annoying to carry these around.
If there's someone who's got worn out tatami mats, and if they were to replace with brand new tatami mats, how much would that cost?
I would say similar, yeah.
Similar?
Yeah, it's 25,000 to 30,000 mat.
Okay.
Yeah, similar price.
Yeah.
But they're hard to make too, tatami mats.
Oh, I can imagine.
Super detailed, like it's like layer upon layer upon layer. It's a super time-intensive process. Yeah. If I hadn't made them myself, I would buy them. If I saw this room, you know what I mean? It's great. It's you have to step on it to really understand it, but I'm really happy with the final surface. And like, has such great rebound, you know, like you can see like there's no deformation whatsoever after a year of using these. There's no dips or,
So you have inventory of the mats, but you didn't acquire the inventory to sell. You are considering maybe even opening your own gym, right?
Yeah, I had thought for a very long time and like been teaching both jiu-jitsu and just a little bit of yoga. I did the yoga teacher training and mostly had done that as a personal practice, but I felt like it was something I could teach and enjoy teaching. Yeah. The jiu-jitsu was like something that they asked me to do, and I kind of just got into that naturally. But yoga, to be a yoga teacher was actually something that I actually considered. Yeah. Because it's similar to teaching English in that it's one-to-one and, same thing tailored to their weakness and then more recently getting into the functional training and coming across a thing called functional patterns, which immediately interested me because some of the principles were things that I had already kind of started doing. And just looking at the results was just incredible. Looked into it more deeply, started doing their online program, and to be honest, it's amazing. It got me super pumped about like learning it in more detail. So I'm off to Brisbane in November to do a course on that. So it's something that just feels good and natural when you just do it, and it immediately. They have this analogy that it's like a crinkled can that's been kicked down the road for 10 years, and then you're able to like slowly start to stretch it back out again and hear it like click, 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 click as it goes back into shape. That's the exact analogy they use when you start doing these exercises, and that's exactly how it feels. Your body starts to like heal itself almost. It's incredible. So it's something that I think has a huge potential. Like already it's blown up, but it could blow up a lot more than that now too.
When can we expect to be able to sign up?
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I'm doing it as completely as a personal thing. Like I want to take care of myself and posture wise, and it really makes you start to think about your posture more and how to improve yourself through movement. I think that's the biggest thing. It's similar, like it's teaching you to fish instead of giving you a fish, you know what I mean? And it's the same with exercise. This is knowledge that all of humanity should have. And we have had it in the past, I believe, and known how to optimize our physical potential. That's kind of been lost. So, and this is something that definitely people are going to want to have somebody teach them directly. What I like about it is just completely pragmatic and it makes sense, you know what I mean? Like move your body the way it was designed to move. Yeah. And things that they say, like, okay, stretching, people like, there's a point that's good. Being too tight, of course, that's not good. But also you get to a point with yoga and some other faculties where you become super flexible and then you become more prone to injury. And you're also not like dynamic in your movements. You don't have rebound to your movement.
Burst of.
Yeah. So when you change direction, for example, there's a laxity to your tendons that just doesn't allow you to change direction quickly or generate force in a straight line, you know. Right. When you connect all your muscle groups together and like, that's what it's all about. Softness is good, but length is not good. Yeah. To muscle. That's why they do a lot more massage and myofascial release instead of self-massage. Those techniques, I feel like they're better than chiropractic or massage. You do those yourself. Same thing. Costs zero. benefits are huge, you know, so why not do it?
So you have black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Yes.
Okay.
There it is. Proof.
How long did it take you?
A long time. So I started before I came to Japan. Obviously at that time it was much more disorganized than it is now. We just basically had one guy who went across to live with Hickson. He was an Australian kickboxing champion. And he lived with Hickson, taught kickboxing at Hickson's gym. And
what's his name?
His name's Habby Hesk. And he still teaches jiu-jitsu. He's got a school in Scarborough in Western Australia. I think probably 5 years or so he won the World Masters at black belt, which is not that easy to do, especially nowadays.
So you do teach Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu?
Just a couple of times a week.
And that's another source of income for you.
Yeah.
Right?
I get paid. I've done some teaching for a friend of mine who has an international school. So they do a course in jiu-jitsu for the kids. So I designed like a short jiu-jitsu course and delivered that. I've done that, I think, 2 years in a row now. So that's quite good money for me. And it's just another source of income. So yeah, if I can get little seminars or little opportunities to put together short courses, things like that. I had considered like, you know, my own school or a combination of yoga and jiu-jitsu. It's part of the reason I got the mats and was looking to, you know, space not at that time pre-COVID and got quite close. Probably. Yeah. But COVID kind of threw some spanner into the work.
I think it's all going to come together in the end. I think if and when you open up a gym.
I'm glad you see the big picture, mate. My wife should do it.
That's all right.
Yeah, no, honestly, yes, there is an end game. And I'm in the information gathering stage. I feel like the functional patterns thing has given me some direction because I wanted to do something physically and I have the options of yoga, which I have a now 500-hour certification in yoga teaching and, you know, jiu-jitsu teaching. There are two options, but functional patterns is like a third option.
Okay.
And it may be something that it may be easier to actually teach. Do you know what I mean? To open a jiu-jitsu school and build that up. I feel like there's going to be a more like instant kind of interest in a foundational functional patterns kind of style of training, which would be super new to Japan. I don't know if anyone's doing it yet. So like something that creates a buzz is something that jiu-jitsu is already popular. It's in its heyday now already. Something that's new to the country. It interests me for sure. If everyone did one functional patterns class, one yoga class, and one jiu-jitsu class a week from nothing, they would see huge return on their time investment.
So you have these multiple sources of income. Ultimately, it's what you're interested in, right?
Yeah.
And going freelance has allowed you to do that even more so. I mean, you always found time to do that even while working full-time at Berlitz. But would you say like things have accelerated?
Yeah. Yeah, the way you put it, if you put it that way, like it has naturally, like English teaching is another thing I enjoy. If I didn't enjoy it, I wouldn't do it this long. You know what I mean? So everything I do, everything I pay for, I actually enjoy doing it. So even though I'm not hugely rich from it, I feel like I'm quite lucky in what I'm doing.
I think you're doing pretty well, Dave.
I think
it's a nice place you got here.
I've been lucky, but still living month to month, same as everyone else. You know what I mean? Like cost of living is just crazy now. So. But it pays the bills. Yeah. And hopefully, I like that it's grown organically and haven't had to put too much like effort into pushing. I don't like pushing things to people too much.
Yeah.
If they approach you, they're sincere about it to some extent.
Sincerity is a big thing. For sure. Yeah.
It's the biggest thing actually. Mm-hmm. If the student's sincere and the teacher's sincere, that's the perfect learning environment.
Mm-hmm. It's probably what made you such a popular teacher.
But I have one piece of advice to an English teacher, that's it. If you're sincere about what you're doing, people will feel it. Yeah. It's something that you can't make up, can't pretend. Sincerely want to help people, they feel the vibration from you. And it's like sincerity is everything in teaching.
Absolutely. And as you said, avoiding to work is harder than. How does it go?
I think, what did I say? Yeah. Trying to pretend you're working is harder than actually working.
Yeah.
Or actually doing a good job.
When you open your gym, what would you call it?
No, I've had an idea, like Ujjai has been an idea for a brand that I've had for a while. I actually got some logo, and I did that logo, that one I got made on Fiverr.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're...
yeah, you already have everything in place.
I've got
you just got to find the space.
T-shirts, yeah.
You got t-shirts too? You got merch?
So Ujjai is kind of a type of breathing. It's actually spelled Ujjai, but because it's a Sanskrit word, any spelling that you see of it is probably just like a romanization of Sanskrit anyway. Pronunciation-wise, it sounds like Japanese. Ujjai. Ujjai.
Okay. Ujjai.
Ujjai. It's not Ujjai, but Ujjai. So Ujjai, that's on Instagram too. Ujjai on Instagram.
Okay. I'll be on the lookout.
Yeah, so Ujjai
Academy.
Functional Fitness or something like that. Or I'm under the Functional Patterns banner if you fell out to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whatever. I know that functional patterns is something quite valuable to carry with you if you're if you're representing them as a company, because they have quite a good reputation. And go on Instagram, look at functional patterns results, and look at the way they're dealing with people with, serious cerebral palsy or scoliosis, severe scoliosis, to the point where they can't even walk straight. But in the end, they're kind of jogging in quite a natural structure. It's amazing. Yeah, really got me interested. Works for everyone.
You better have your own school, Dave, next time I interview you. You have your own hot sauce as well.
Yeah,
that's more of a hobby thing.
Yeah, that's another hobby. Yeah.
Dr. Schoville, what I like about it is, you gave me samples and I do use it. The new one you gave me, that one's really spicy. I really like it. And another good thing about it is you use like the local, organic ingredients.
As much as we can, we use the highest quality thing we can get. We use local honey and local apple cider vinegar, organic local fruit every time we do it. So it ended up costing us quite a lot per bottle, to the point where, can we make money off it? I don't know. We'd have to charge double what it costs. To make any kind of money from it, it would have to be 2,000. 2,000
per bottle.
Per bottle.
Yeah. You used to import hot sauces from
No, I just used to buy, there's a guy on Facebook that has like a brand called Hammer Hot Sauce.
Shout out.
A little variation, Sledgehammer. Rusty Hammer has like a variation of different hammers, like your band hammer. Anyway, Boutique has a bunch of followers on Facebook only, announces drops on his website and just sells out shit. And I was like, that's a pretty cool business model too. So we could do that too, build it up. So I think we were able to recreate from the first batch. I was super happy with, because we watched a bunch of videos on hot sauce as well. So we kind of took a few ideas from different places and did a lot of tasting. Got the best possible peppers we could get. Peppers alone cost us Niman last time. So that's, for people watching, it's $150 just for a batch of peppers. If I only had one condiment, it would be hot sauce. It's a natural extension of cooking for me. I love cooking, and I've really tried to take my cooking to a level where it's almost, can be considered almost professional level. So adding like a hot to your own sauces is kind of taking a dish to the next level. You can combine the flavors.
Open up your own gym and open up a restaurant right next door to it.
I've thought about like a pop-up here of tacos, actually, from my kitchen window on the street. I sell street tacos out the window there, straight from the kitchen.
Our next is the series of questions.
Okay.
What do you miss about Australia?
It's the beaches.
Any particular beach?
Scarborough Beach in Perth, Western Australia.
Favorite Japanese word or phrase?
Daijobu.
Favorite Japanese food or restaurant?
Yakitori. We used to go a lot to a place called Kushiwakamaru in Nakameguro. It's famous. Funny story, like do you remember Philip Trossier? He's a French coach of the national soccer team. I've seen him there like 2 or 3 times. His favourite restaurant too. I've seen it in an interview with him say it was his restaurant. So.
What would you be doing back home if you weren't here doing what you're doing?
Yeah, it's a good question. I have no idea. I might still be doing security, to be honest. I've got a good friend of mine who got me into security, and he's still doing security and getting really good money for it. So, yeah, probably still be doing it.
What's your favorite thing about Japan?
Japanese people. You know, where you live, you know, it all comes down to the people. Think about a workplace, man. Whenever a workplace is down, it's not the work, it's who you're working with.
Absolutely.
That's what it comes down to in the end. Like, and where you live is an extension of that. You know?
What goal would you set for yourself that you know you can't achieve in your lifetime?
It's a weird ass question. Yeah, I mean, part of my thoughts about where I want to go business-wise is something that I could, if they wanted to do it, would be to pass it on to my kids and teach them and have them go straight from school into like running their own business. I think is a good goal. So I wouldn't, you know, I've probably got 20 years left, 20 good years maybe max, not even. Knock on wood. Yeah, I think with the way the medical system's going, and we'll be working till we're 75. So I would say, yeah, I've got at least a good 20 years left of work left in me. And after that, have something like a little bit of a legacy I could leave for the kids to finish. Is definitely something that I've thought about.
Lastly, advice for all the guys in Japan.
In Japan? Yeah, I would say to like get off the railroad. And by that I mean like metaphorically get away from what is considered the thing to do in Japan. So when you come here and you take the train everywhere and you never see those parts of Japan that are away from the train tracks, that's a big mistake. So literally walk away from the train tracks and go out and explore, you know, and do that not only like physically, but metaphorically as well. Like when you like get out of your comfort zone or what you think should be done by foreign people when they come here, you know, they have an image of whether they come as a tourist or they come here to live, they have an image of what a foreign person should do. Just throw that away, you know, and just get away from the train tracks. Do something different. Find different places.
I want to get some footage of the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, like one of your favorite moves.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I was thinking we could do a little thing like how long can you last with a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt? Do you feel like you could last a minute? All you have to do is not tap. I had a friend of mine that we did that for a pizza. Needless to say, he paid for pizza and he was an ex-wrestler. So.
Oh, fuck.
Okay. So normally if we were starting in this position, we'd tap.
And then it's on?
So you just try to survive 1 minute.
Yeah.
Okay.
Holy. No. That's Kimura. I don't know. No.
Not bad.
I feel violated.
You did it right.
Really?
Yeah. Want to go again? Yeah.
Go. From here?
Yeah.
Okay. I can't even go anywhere. No. Can I run? Oh no. Oh no. Oh.
good, yeah. Keep it in it.
Oh my god, your grips are insanely strong. Nice.
Alright, last time. I'll work you out.
No. God. Oh my goodness. Oh no! I feel vulnerable. No. Oh. Oh. What the hell was that?
Alright, we're calling it a day.
Sir.
That's probably good.
Sir.
Yeah, can't complain.